The House That Jack Built is Lars von Trier's latest film. He's the same director that did the Nymphomaniac films, Antichrist, Dogville, and the only film of his that I've seen up until this point, Melancholy, which I saw it and I've heard it's his tamest film. I thought it was solid. I didn't love it. That's another story altogether. But I was excited to see The House Jack Built because I heard a lot of controversial, stuff. Like some people were hailing it as a masterpiece, some were hailing it as the worst film of the year. And I love it when a film does that. Those films such as like Mother or Suspiria, where it's just you have such passion, on either side of both people that love it or hate it. I love this type of films because I feel as though you're oversaturated with a market that Marvel and Disney unfortunately just have it, where it's like every film gets a 95% from those studios. What people don't understand is that when they have a 95% of Rotten Tomatoes, odds are it's actually like a 6 out of 10, which means passing ratings. But when you have a film such as Mother, Suspiria, or The House that Jack Built, where it's a 60%, it's usually like a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10, which means you have the passionate people that love it and the passionate people that hate it. And I love it. Just a little side note. So, what's The House That Jack Built about, though? It's about a guy named Jack who is a serial killer, and it's about the basically episodes of how he kills certain people, and he's telling this to another person that we don't really know who it is. This is, I'm not gonna lie, this is a fascinating film because the narration I found to be very unique. And the way it's shot too, I at first wasn't sure if I was gonna like the way it was shot because it is shaky camera work, but it just kind of gave an authenticity, like you're actually with this guy, And Matt Dillon's incredible, I have to say. He is very scary as a serial killer. The film is also darkly comical in certain scenes. Like there's certain scenes where he just killed someone and then he's like thinking about like how I think I accidentally left a little blood, I got to go back. And it's just one of those things where it's like, oh my goodness, you as a killer and you have OCD. That's just crazy. Now, it's not to say this film is just darkly comical. No, it is gruesome, and it is a film that is getting a lot of controversy for, violence on children as well as violence on animals. And I can understand that. Those scenes are hard to watch. And I feel as though they're also the type of scenes where it makes sense in the context, but it's still the type of thing where it's very difficult to watch. And I guess that's the best way to explain this film. It feels as though there's a constant clash of tones that somehow is beautiful to watch because it's ambitious. I'm all about ambitious filmmaking. I am the type of person that if a filmmaker makes ambitious work and it might not work totally, but it's still passable, I'll probably like it more than a film that isn't ambitious and is just passable because it's like, anyone can make passable filmmaking, but a filmmaker that is ambitious and tries to be an auteur but might fail a little bit, that's still ballsy and that's, admirable. So Lars von Trier for me for this film, I think he does a solid job. Is it a perfect film? No. And I'll get into negatives in a little bit, but I just want to say that I think that narratively, acting wise, just, also artistically, because there's a lot of like messages in the film about art itself. That all that stuff is very interesting. Negative wise, I do think that there are some scenes that kind of drag on a little bit towards the end. The ending also might be a little heavy-handed for some, and the violence definitely will deter a lot of people. Now, specifically for me, was that a negative? Yes and no. Again, it's hard to explain fully in a non-spoiler review, but I'll just say this. The House That Jack Built, if you haven't seen any Lars von Trier films and this is your first time watching, just prepare yourself for a lot of violence and a lot of tough scenes to watch. If you have seen his films, you know what to expect, other than the fact that it's a little bit different because I felt like there was more stuff to kind of latch onto than Melancholy. Because Melancholy, the way it was told, it reminded me of Tree of Life. I like Tree of Life better, of course, but I think The House that Jack Built is more accessible for mainstream audiences. But at the same time, I feel as though there's a caveat to where it's definitely more artsy than many films. So The House that Jack Built for me, I personally would be giving it a 4 to 5 star rating, or if there's like a hot sauce rating, it's the Louisiana pure hot sauce. So The House That Jack Built, I'm very excited to hear you guys' thoughts on this film. I personally, again, thought it was good, not great. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts because this is the type of film that us film critics love. You know, I really want to hear your guys' thoughts because I know there are going to be some people that hated it and some that love it, and I really want to hear your guys' thoughts on this film. So, comment section down below, and also, guys, don't forget the subscription notification bell, and I'll catch you guys later.